Hello guys, and welcome to another video of learning Python with a beginner. So I just wanted to try to solve this problem, trying to have a better solution. I know that maybe this is not going to be the best solution. I haven't read the solution here, but I know that there is another method because I have seen it before. And remember that we try to these are the numbers. If you remember, let's see the problem again. Here's the description. We are going to be still doing the two sum problem that probably is the most solved problem in YouTube right now. But it's given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target. We will return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target. And you may assume that each input will have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. Okay, so there is another method that we can use. For example, what we done before was that we have two indexes, I and j, and we took this number and we started to compare it with the other three numbers, right? And if none of those matched, we will go to the next number and we will compare it to the next two numbers. So yeah, we will try to do it in a different way. So we have a list, right? We have a list, and let's try to think that our target, we need to have a 9, and let's try to think like this way. What happens if I just remove the first number of the list? So we remove the number 2. What's going to happen? We are going to have the number 2, and the list is going to be reduced, and we are going to have only these numbers, right? So if we have the number and we have another list, we can try to find the number that we want in this list, and it's going to be faster than going in each of the different numbers. And we can do something like this, because if the target is 9, what happens if we just subtract the number that we took out from the list from the target? So we can have the target, or the yeah the solution is going to be the target minus 2 in this case, because this is the number that we are using. So if we try to search for the solution, that in this case, if we are having a target of 9 and we subtract the number 2, the solution must be a 7. So we can try to find the number 7 in this list. That's faster. That's a lot faster. And remember that last time we had in our submissions a runtime of almost 1.6 seconds. So using this method, we are going to use find or something like that. I think that is, let's try to find the index of the number 7. And if in this list then the solution exists, we already have the number that we pop out, and the solution, we just need to have the index. Okay, so here what we're going to do is that we need to be very careful, because when we pop one number, we are going to be moving all the numbers in different indexes. So we will need to create a variable that knows how many times we have popped a number. Okay, for example, let's just go here and we will create a new file. A new Python file is still going to be number 1, 2 sums, but we will call it solution number 2. So first, remember that we can copy this part here, and let's copy with the numbers and the target. So here we have this, and also these are the same thing that I'm going to be doing in almost all of the videos. No, remember that it's very important to have indentation correctly. So I don't want this here, I wanted this right there. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, remember here that we can just right pass, and we are going to have a fully functional code that is going to still do nothing, but is going to work. Okay, so how can we start building a code that is going to be doing what we want? We need to pop the numbers, and let's say that the target is not 9. Let's say that the target is another number, like for example with 11 and 8 and 19. Let's say that is 19. We will first pop the first number, and we are going to have this other array. So we need to pop this 11 out. So we are going to have the 11 right here out, and we're going to have a new list of only the 7 and the 8. And here we are going to have a new solution that is going to be target minus subtracting 11. So that if the target is 19, minus 11 is going to be 8. So it's going to find the answer. So to keep track of all these numbers, first we will go here, and let's first create a list. So we are going to have an A, and after this, well, we don't need the column, and after this we will start to play with a function. For example, there is something very important that you need to know, that I have seen many different videos. If you just try to equal the A and nums, this is not really a good practice. You need to avoid this at all cost, because when you are doing this, you are basically saying that A is equal to nums. But if you modify A, because you have this identity right here, if you modify A, you are going to modify nums. So I'm going to show you what I learned, that if you do this, it's not going to be very good. We can just here print A, and we can print nums, just to show you that if we run this, we are going to have the same result. What happens if we modify here number 8? We can say that the number in the A in the index 0 is going to be different. It's going to be a 3, for example. If we run this, you will see that even if we only modify A in the index 0, we modify also nums. So this is the incorrect way to do it. Believe me, I I failed a lot of times doing this. But what I'm going to do is to show you how you can, well, I'm not going to to change anything here. I'm just going to show you that we can have an identity, and we can create a list using the nums list. So we're going to create a new list using the list in nums. If we do this, you will see that here we have the A, because we modify A, but now the nums is still the same start numbers, is nums. Okay, so this is the correct way to do it, and maybe there's other methods, but I know that using this method, if we print only not the solution, not the list, if we print where is located the number A and number nums, well, the list nums and list A, where is located is going to be in a different part of the memory. Okay, and that's important, because if we only have the identity that A is equal to nums, is exactly going to target the same memory space. Well, too much talking, let's continue. So yeah, first we are going to create a list of nums so we can modify. Okay, so after that we are going to pop a number. So this pop number, we can, if you use, for example, we already have the variable A. If we click A and then a dot, you can see here that you have many different functions that you can select, and there is one that is pop. So we have insert something in this list, append something to the list, to remove something from the list, or sort the list, or clear the list, etc. So we have this one that is pop. So we can select it, and I know that if we leave exactly the function as this is, we are going to pop the last number. So if we try to print what we popped, let's just run this. The first, we're going to pop the last number. Okay. So in this case, we are popping the number 15. But if we want to pop the first number, well, let me just print the list now so you can compare it. So now the list doesn't have the 15. Okay. We are just printing the new list because we already popped the last index, the last number. And now this is how the new list is. So we have the number and we have the new list. And well, we are already starting cooking here. But what we are going to do is to pop the first index. So we are going to press or to insert the 0 here, and we are going to see how it's going to change here. You will see that now we pop the first number, and now the list it looks like this. It's a 7, 11, 15. Okay, so that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to pop the first number and then to have a list and compare it. So we are in the right direction. Now we have the number, and we need to find if the target subtracting the popped number is in the list. So we're going to create a for loop for I in range of the length of A. Remember that A is going to be changing each iteration. Why? Because we are going to be popping a number each time. So, well, in that case, maybe it's not the length of A, it's the length of nums. Let's see, because we are going to see if we get to some error or something. So here, if we are going to be joining, and let's see, we will need to have the target, though, well, we have a solution is going to be the target minus the popped number, right? So here, now we are going to compare if solution in A. This is something very good in Python because we can search for a number in a list using this syntax. If there is this number in this list, then let's just print, yes, there is. And if not, well, what we are going to do if we don't have the number in this list, then we are going to pop again this number, this first index, we are going to pop it again. And that's, remember the indentation, because if we do something here is only when there is the solution enabled. When there is no solution, the number solution in A, we need to do it right here. So if there is no solution in A, we are going to have a new popped number. So pop is going to be, again, A pop 0. Okay, so maybe to follow what we are doing, we can just print here, print pop, just to see the value, and let's just run it. Okay, so first we run the number 2, that's the first popped number, that's the first print that we have, the number 2. And then because the answer is 9, it entered to solution and it printed yes, there is. But because it continued with the 4, then we didn't pop it anything, so it was just printed there. The next, well, yeah, well, the next pop number is number 7, then number 11, and then 15 15, and you can see here that we cannot go on, we cannot pop from an empty list. So that's the error that happened. So maybe the error was that we need to have this iteration for length -1. Let's see. Yeah, because we cannot go, we cannot complete 0, 1, 2, 3. We need to have one less because we are going to pop the last number. So it's not going to show any error. So yeah, here if we already find that there is a solution here, we don't really need to continue. So this should have return something. Let's just say return true, and you will see that after it prints that yes there is, and you have a return, we are not going to continue with the loop. Okay, so yeah, at the end we are going to return the index of the numbers. So at the end we are going to have something like a 0 and a 1, something like that. But yeah, we will just wait for that. Let's just return 1 for now. But okay, so we think that this works, but we don't want to have, we don't just want to know that there is an answer. We want to know the index of the numbers. So what I'm going to do is that we need to have another variable. Normally it's a counter. So I will initialize the C with the number 0. And you will see that the first time that we pop something, we are taking out the number 0 from the list. So C is going to be the pop number. So every time that we pop something, we need to add 1 to the number. So if there is no answer and we need to pop the number 2, then we can have here a C equals, well, I think that the syntax is plus equal 1. And we can here print the value C just so we can see how it's going to be changing. So at first is the pop number is number 2 and the print C is 0, but of course that's the answer. Let's change the answer to a 22. So the answer is going to be the 7 and the 50. So the first popped number is the number 2 and the value of C is 0. And because it didn't enter here, it didn't print yes there is because there was no solution using the number 2. Then we are going to pop the first other number that it's the number 7 right here. Well, this is not the same one. Yeah, it's the number 7. And now the value of C is 1. Okay, so now that's the value of C. And now we have a solution. So here we can have the number C because when it finds a solution, the number C is going to be one of the numbers. But what about the other number? For the other number, we need to know where it find the solution in A, because the solution here is the target is 22 and we pop the number 7. So we know that the solution is 15. So we need to find in the list the number 15. How can we do that? We are going to try to use another method, another function that I know that if you're a beginner like me, we don't normally know any of this beforehand. But I know that if we click here and you start to see many of these different functions that you can use, there's one that it says index. So here we can try to find the index of which number. The number that we are searching is the solution. Okay, so here is going to return something. Let's just test it. And as you can see, it's going to return me the number C and the index. But because we have been, let's just print here before the answer, let's print A, because we have been modifying the list. Now the number 1 it found the solution here. So this is the index 0 and this is index 1. So that's not really correct, right? Because the original number, the original nums is, it has 4 different numbers. So there are two options. Or we can not use a, we can use nums. You can just select nums and it's going to give you the correct one. Or if you want to use a, you can just add to the solution c plus 1. Yeah, I know that it's kind of odd to see something like this, but this is going to be working fine. So if we just run this, we are going to have our answer right here. And these are going to be the index number 1 and 3. Let's test it with the last two numbers so we can have the target 26. Let's test it. So it's the number 2 and 3, 2 and 3. Remember that we start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I think that this is going to work. And let me just warn you something that it happened to me before. You need to remove all this print that you used for debugging, because if you leave these prints here every time that they try to use your function, they are going to print, and if this 4 is too large, it's going to print a lot of numbers. So yeah, now that you are sure that your solution works, we can remove all the other things. And I think that this is going to be working just fine. Let's copy this, go to lead solutions, and copy. Let's try to run the test just to see if this is going to work. Yeah, I think that all of these 3 cases are accepted. Let's submit it. And the runtime was pretty good, 39 seconds. Let's see. Okay, so now the first answer that we have, it was like more than 1 second. It was like 1.8 seconds. And now with this other solution, we have reduced this number to 200 milliseconds. That's pretty good, right? So yeah, that's a different way to solve this problem. And now in the next video, I'm going to show you the best solution that these guys have. Because remember that we have one method, but maybe there's some guy in other parts of the world that has some kittens like this asking for upvotes that are just too good. So we are just starting, and well, at least this solution was accepted, and we have a runtime a lot better. It's almost 10 times better. So yeah, that's it for today's video. And in the next video, we are going to see the solution that these guys are proposing here, that maybe are going to be like all of these 58% of people that use only 45 milliseconds. So that's all for today, and thank you very much. See you later.